My name is Susan. I'm Director of Research and Legal for Fairbanks Youth Sports Resources. I have the following recommendations for our organization. Fairbanks Youth Sports Resources' mission is to help kids in the Fairbanks area participate in healthy sports activities. It will be a low-cost or free source of sporting equipment for kids, in particular disadvantaged kids in the local Fairbanks community. To do this effectively and sustainably, we must take the following steps to protect ourselves and our organization. Number one, we must become incorporated. Under incorporation, we will be protected from personal liability for our organization's debts and liabilities and protection from lawsuits. In the unfortunate event of a lawsuit, our members and directors will generally be protected from personal liability and will be protected if we are incorporated. This means that our own money, houses, cars, or other personal property will not be at risk. This would not be true if we remain unincorporated. If our organization makes a profit, we will not have to pay income tax on it if we are incorporated. We must apply for tax-exempt status, however, for this to be true. In addition, the income must be related to our charitable activities. We must have a tax-exempt status as a corporation in order to qualify for most public or private grant money. And since we will be largely dependent upon seeking contributions from benefactors to fund our organization, if we are a tax-exempt nonprofit corporation, then donors will be able to deduct their gifts to us on their income tax returns. There are other smaller additional benefits of incorporating as well, such as we can receive special postage rates that nonprofits can apply for through mailing permits. And also, incorporated nonprofits are usually exempt from paying property taxes on real estate and other property. It's called a welfare exemption. If we create a participant waiver form, we will be protected from liability in most cases over injuries incurred by the use of our sports equipment. Kids can get hurt while engaging in athletic activities, and this is especially true as kids get older and competition intensifies, whether it's at practice or during games. There is good evidence that the courts will rule in favor of a nonprofit organization that implements waiver forms. There was a court case in Illinois in which the Salvation Army was sued by a volunteer in their drug rehabilitation program. He was injured as a passenger in a Salvation Army van. This case was held in favor of the Salvation Army in trial court and appellate court in 2011, based solely on the basis that the volunteer signed a waiver holding the Salvation Army harmless in any activities he undertook while a volunteer at their organization. We must also purchase liability insurance. General liability insurance is recommended for every organization. It will protect Fairbanks Youth Sports Resources from someone suffering bodily injury, property damage, or other injury while on our premises, or arising from our operations or use of our sports equipment. This will be important in cases where a waiver does not apply or has been determined by the courts to have failed to meet its requirements. Professional liability insurance is important mainly for organizations engaging in activities such as counseling, vocational training, and other kinds of instruction. This might not apply to us as a sports equipment organization, but we should explore this with an agent or broker to determine our need. Volunteer liability insurance is a broadly written general liability policy that includes coverage for bodily injury, property damage, or personal injury by volunteers. However, it is common for nonprofits to insure volunteers separately, which will protect us from liability limits and claims experience. Directors and officers liability insurance is a way for us to protect ourselves as the directors and officers of our organization against being sued for wrongful acts or mismanagement of the organization or its resources. This risk would not be covered under general liability because those acts would result in financial damages instead of bodily injury or property damage. These acts usually involve employment practices such as wrongful termination or discrimination in hiring or promotion. Workers' compensation insurance is important to cover job-related injuries and illnesses our employees may have. It's also required under state of Alaska law. Both employer and employees are protected under this law. The employee receives coverage for job-related injuries and illnesses, and the employer is protected if an employee sues for negligence. An auto insurance policy can protect our organization against third-party claims if employees or volunteers are at fault in an accident if they are driving their personal vehicles on behalf of FYSR. It also protects us if we rent or lease vehicles. There is other insurance that's available as well, such as umbrella liability, which can provide additional limits above those of the underlying policies I've just discussed, usually general liability, and it's written in $1 million increments. Employee volunteer dishonesty coverage would protect us from employee embezzlement, forgery, or some other form of theft. There is also optional coverage for third-party losses such as robbery and disappearance or destruction of funds. Property insurance might also be considered to protect our inventory of sports equipment. Those are minor. As you can see, there's such a wide variety of insurance types. We definitely must consult with an agent or broker to determine our needs and our financial comfort with these policies.